Hello, this is a short presentation from International Student Advice. I'm going to just talk through a little bit about what International Student Advice do. We're also sometimes known as ISA, so if you hear us referred to as that, it's the same thing. So International Student Advice, this is the list of the things that we often advise students on. As you can see, it varies quite a bit, so it can be covering literally anything that students have queries about living in the UK and anything in that area. If we don't know the answer, then we often know somebody who will, so we often refer students on to other areas of the university or other areas in the city if we can't directly answer the questions. The area we get asked most about is visas and immigration. So if any students have questions about their visas and what they can and can't do whilst in the UK, that's mostly what we would be able to advise on. So where to go for help? So International Student Advice is part of the Student Services Hub. So you can find our contact information here. So you can email Student Services or telephone us, and that's our website link there that will take you directly to all the information we have online. Obviously, during this period of the coronavirus pandemic, the campus is closed. So whilst the Student Services Hub is in the library, at the moment you'd need to use the email or phone number to get hold of us. But if any students need to see us face to face, we can still do a meeting via Zoom or via Skype. But when can I see somebody? So this would be in normal times when we're on campus. So the Student Hub is in the library, and that is where you will find us Monday to Friday between 9:30 and 11. You can just drop in and see a member of staff. That's mostly for quick questions. If you have more questions or a more detailed appointment is needed, then we can arrange that for you. We can arrange a separate time to see you and have more time to talk. You will also find us for the right to study checks, or if you need your passport or visa looked at, or you need to collect a BRP. Those times at the bottom of the screen there, they are the times that you can come to the hub to do those things. Visas and immigration. So as I said, that's the area that we get asked lots of questions about. The staff from ISA are regulated by the OISC, so we are able to give immigration advice, and we don't charge for that, it's free. But we are slightly limited in the areas that we advise on. So we advise largely on student visas. So that would be Tier 4 general student visas or short-term study visas for those on courses of less than 6 months. But we do also, if students are interested in staying in the UK to work after their study, we know about Tier 2 and Tier 5 visas, so we can give some information in those areas. And I put standard visitor visa there because we will give advice to students who perhaps need to come back for graduation, that they need to apply for a standard visitor visa, where their Tier 4 visa doesn't cover the graduation period. Arriving in the UK. So it's a very exciting time, lots of change. So we are aware it can also be a bit of a nerve-wracking time because you're looking at perhaps moving to a new country that you haven't lived in before. So we do have some resources online to help deal with those nerves. We have a pre-departure checklist and a page that talks all about arriving in the UK. So I'll just show you that page now. So this one's about preparing to travel and arriving. So what documents you need, luggage, money, clothing, and there's a checklist at the bottom here of things to make sure you've looked into before you travel. So it's worth having a look at that if you are travelling to Plymouth. There's also other things to think about when travelling. So check if you can go through the e-gates. Have you spoken to your accommodation provider? That kind of thing. And make sure you've got travel from your airport or wherever you're arriving, so Heathrow, or perhaps you're coming in on boat. Travel from there to Plymouth once you arrive, because it can take the distance from Heathrow to Plymouth, it can take 3 or 4 hours on the train, so it's worth having that booked in advance, or at least being aware that you're going to have to do that travel before you get here, so you know you're not arriving at 11 o'clock at night and then getting to Plymouth in the middle of the night. So once you've made the decision, your first 2 weeks in Plymouth, we run a welcome week in September for specifically for international students, and you can find out more information at this link here, where it goes through all the events that are available during the welcome week. There are lots of information in there, so I won't go through the whole schedule, but these on the screen here are the highlights of the welcome week program, and it's just a chance to get settled, get those practical things sorted, like completing your enrolment, registering with a doctor, opening a bank account if you need to. There's so much that goes on in that welcome week that we recommend all international students, even if they have lived in the UK before, come along, because it's just getting a chance for you to get set up and feel more confident knowing your way around the campus. But before all of the students from the UK arrive, culture shock. Now, this is a very normal thing that happens to lots of students from outside the UK when they arrive here, or in fact anyone who comes from a different culture. It's very normal, and we just want it to be out there that it's a normal thing that students may deal with. Sometimes it takes students a week, sometimes students might not experience it for 6 months, but there are plenty of resources if it does happen to you to support you through it and to help make that process a little bit easier. So, Global Buddies and Movie Nights. Global Buddies, as it says here, is a peer support group that the university runs. It's just for international students, and it's mostly student-led, so each week the theme of what's discussed or what's done at the group will be decided by the students. It's a great way to also meet a few people if you are having trouble getting to know people in Plymouth. It's just a really nice group for international students, so we just like everyone to know that it exists. I also run a monthly movie night which is just for international students, and it's free to attend, so we email students out each month to let them know what the movie of the month will be. So yeah, as we say, we email students about these events each week. The student services, ISA is part of student services, but it's not alone. There are many other valuable services that you can access through the Student Services Hub in the library or through the email address and web pages. So here's just a list of the services that you can access. But the advisors in the Student Hub will talk you through, if you go through with any non-academic query, they'll talk you through where to go and who can help you. So that's just to give you an idea of the areas of support that there are at the university. And finally, thank you. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much.